Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Welcome to Derry Season 1 review series. But this is the Season 1 finale
Heyo.
review. I am Tricky Dicky Trasnell, and I'm joined by
I'm the bat mode, Dylan Muss.
Bat Mode. Oh, that's a good one. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, just us. Taylor was excited to be here, but he had family coming to town, so I had to arrange some plans. But I imagine because he was like, oh, I don't know if I want to miss this. Then I'm like, it's the finale. You'll be, whatever. Go with the family. But I imagine Dylan, you'll probably have to hear some of his thoughts on the what you've been watching on Weekly Geek. But if so, if you
Sure.
want any Taylor thoughts there, you can get them there because he missed the last two. So hear his opinions there. But me and Dylan are here to close this out. The prequel series to the hit ones. We can go back in the feeds. We reviewed the movies. We reviewed every episode. Everything's there. Dilmas, how did you feel this was the closeout here? Long episode, hour 9. So I can't
Mm.
say one thing. At least I think we're so used. Like obviously Disney Plus did that. I had a big issue earlier this season. Dylan, you weren't on the reviews, but Peacemaker had a lot of episodes where it's like 33 minutes. It's like, ugh, like, so I'll give this show that credit that I feel like it was always hidden at least like a 45-minute plus thing. And at least for an
Hmm.
hour 9, I don't know if it hit everything, but at least it feels like, okay, there wasn't there wasn't like in exactly a rush. Like hour 9, there's lots of breathing time, which is good because I feel like a lot of shows nowadays are just moving really fast and not for the benefit of it. But Dylan, also you've had
Hmm.
a rocky road with this one. How we're at the stop here. Did the car get there in one piece, or was there some damage done to the rims, the glass, the mirrors, anything to
Yeah,
damage?
there's definitely some damage done to all of those car parts that you just mentioned. Yeah, I guess there's probably a lot of people who are tuning into this episode who maybe didn't listen to everything along the way.
Yes.
A lot of people maybe jumping on for the finale of things, which makes sense. And yeah, so for me, this show started out pretty well. It was a little bit rocky, but it was usually like, oh, I really like this episode. Didn't care much for this episode, but it was at least kind of mediocre. But then I think the last specifically 3 weeks maybe for me is when it really just nosedived to some
Yeah.
extent. I think last week in particular was like it just kind of get worse and worse. And for me, at the end of the day, here last episode, not a good ending for me. I was pretty disappointed with this season finale. Well, maybe that's not the right word because I think I kind of expected this just after how the last couple weeks went. I'm like,
Mm.
I don't think I'm going to enjoy the ending of this. Now, I still tried to give it a shot. I watched it, paid attention. I was trying to be open minded with the big crazy things that were happening, and even though I didn't love what it implied, but I was like, okay, I'll just try and see it out, see how I feel about it. And yeah, ultimately, I really did not jive with this finale. There's a lot of choices here in terms of Pennywise stuff that really bothers me. I guess that's a good way to
Mm.
put it in a non-spoilersy way. I think a big thing for me is I think the acting's been not phenomenal through this whole series, but I think in this episode in particular was not great. There's some really, really cheesy dialogue in here that quite bothered me, I guess is a good way to put it. Some of the action sequences, there's a couple good moments, but I think for the most part, not looking very good on the CGI. I don't love like the choreography of the stuff that's going on here. I think maybe the positive I can give to this is that it's very different. It's not just a rehash of what we got in the two
Yes.
movies.
We
Yeah.
were worried last week because just the setup was identical to.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we're like, I feel like we spoiled that. It's like, it chapter 1, Bev gets kidnapped. It chapter 2, I can't remember, but someone gets kidnapped and we're going in the well. And this ended
Yeah.
with Will got kidnapped. Looks like we're going to get Pennywise. So I agree with you
Yeah.
there that we were worried and they at least did that. So,
Yeah. So it took some different directions. Obviously, I didn't really love those directions that it took, but I do have to commend it for not just being a rehash and trying some different things and kind of carving, I guess, its own initials into like what this world can be, what the characters can be like. There's man, there's one like character connection thing that I just found so cheesy, but I think I just found a lot of this episode really cheesy. It doesn't really fit with the vibe of a whole lot of it. So
mm.
yeah, I was quite disappointed. There's really not a whole lot that I enjoy in this, but you know what? I'm glad it's over. I overall don't think I loved the show a whole lot. Didn't really like it that much when it's all said and done, unfortunately. But yeah, I think that's where I'm at for now.
Yeah, I'm of. a few minds here. I think just like last week, I'll say this week that I agree that there's probably some sketchy CGI stuff, but I think like last week, if you were wanting the scary Pennywise good moments, the finale does it again here. I think there's some really fun scares. I think there's some moments. I think Bill Skarsgård again gets to do some different things as Pennywise, and he's just great. We said this from the beginning. He just has such a handle on this character. Not that I was expecting him to lose it, but still, it's been 2016, 17 since he, or I guess more like 2018 since he's played this character and hasn't missed a beat, and he's bringing more stuff where to the point where it's like I didn't love everything with the show, but I guess why I'm always still down for more seasons, because if I get more of him, it's still always like just a fun thing. Like there's multiple scenes in this, especially the opening of this show, very dark, but Bill's just like sinking his teeth right into it. So if you just primarily watch like, hey, you just want to see this clown scare some people, I think they do some good moments there. So you have that going on. Yeah, I think I'm excited to talk to you about the Pennywise stuff, because I think there's stuff that I enjoy from a lore perspective and reveals, but I think it works better as if they were, let's say this was a reboot and this was the start of something new. I think it doesn't work great in lieu of the other movies. I think that's my problem, where they could present some ideas where I go, oh, that's cool, and that'd be a great show, or that'd be a great concept. But it just makes me feel like there's things that happen in the other two movies that just don't jive together. And I know everyone join our Discord and check out the It chapter or the It spoilers chat. Whether it's the day after, the next day, April always drops like a big Bible worth of all facts. So she's a big Stephen King fan. Yeah, she's a big Stephen King fan, all this stuff. And I talked to her about this little last week where, and I think other people have had this sentiment. I'm not doing any spoilers, but just feels like the kids, like Pennywise is, I don't know, just so much lower tier in the movies that follow. And I know it's like, oh, well, the turtle's helping. But the problem is in this show, they allude to that. Like they give hints of it. And then with the movies, they don't really at all. And that's my problem is I think there's a lot of things that maybe in the books or concepts might go, oh, well, this doesn't happen because of this. But they don't show or explain or write that. So I just have to go, okay, based on what happens in the future and what's happening here, I just I feel like it kind of makes Pennywise incompetent a little time, which I'm not saying he was like a goddamn genius, but I didn't ever take him for that. I took him as arrogant and very cocky with these kids, but I thought this show would kind of be the setup towards that. So yeah, I'm trying to tiptoe around it because they did some interesting things. At least they took some swings. Don't know if they all worked. And then I think the ending is I had some issues with. There's especially one thing that there's just one thing this character tried to do to other characters, and I could not believe it. Just felt so kind of cheesy. Just I don't know. I got a giggle. I get what they're going for. So yeah, this didn't land with me. But even though like I didn't ever hate the show, I still had a good time. And I think just like last week though, there is a set piece that there's too much CGI going on. It's something where it's just like, I wish we're shooting this practical. I'll just say it has to do with snow. And I wish they're like, let's find somewhere and just get a snow machine and just blurst it out. And even if it doesn't look like a storm, it's like add some stuff in later. It's like last week with the fire where, okay, it doesn't look believable at all. So that sense of danger is not there. And it takes me out the whole time. And it sucks because the set pieces by themselves, I think, are great. Maybe that's the limitations towards a TV show, right? Budget or even just time constraints, but then maybe find another way around that. And I guess also I'll say non-spoilers, we'll get into it right away, but I also thought how big things got in this episode, I did not enjoy as well either. I thought we went to a massive scale for something that is supposed to be like not many people know about this clown. It's like, I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people have some stories now, but I digress. So anything else non-spoilers?
Well, I guess maybe I'll just ask you this. If maybe someone's tuning in. Is this show worth watching? What do you think? If you're a fan of the movies, if you're not, is this show worth a watch?
I think if you're a fan of the movies, it's worth a try. I think it's going to be, I feel like with everybody, it's different strokes for different folks. So I feel like you've been more negative on down on it. I've been kind of like an up and down. Taylor's been mostly up. And then I feel someone like even Rachel, I feel like, or not Rachel, I don't know why I called you Rachel, April. April, I don't know where that name came from. I feel like she's someone that like really was enjoying or loving the show up until last week, which I was surprised about, right? So that's my thing. I can't get a gauge because it feels like people are kind of, I think it also depends your fandom, right? Are you a big Stephen King book person? Or are you just a fan of the movies? I think if you're a fan of the movies, it's worth trying, and I think it may vary per user. I think it all depends, and I also do think it might be a better binge show because I think those people that were waiting for Pennywise or wanting like, oh, not the slow burn.
Fair, yeah.
I think if you watch this all in a weekend, you could end up maybe loving a lot more. Whereas we had to watch it weekly and maybe wait for some stuff. And some episodes that were maybe more slower or didn't reveal too much or move the plot forward, those were maybe a bit more of a drag to get through when it was a 10-week sequence. Which they did a full 10 weeks, so it doesn't feel like that, but it has been. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
All right, and Kyle Goldface from Discord and Patreon said, the CGI was rough. Yeah, and that's the tough thing with TV shows, right? Like some of them do have some great ones, but they are somewhat limited. So we will talk about that. We're gonna take our first ad break, and then we'll be right back and get full into it. And we're back. Dylan Muss, Rachel, where do you want to start with? Where do you want to start with this episode?
Let's see. Let's start with. Well, let's just start in the classic Kirkland fashion. We'll start at the beginning. So I'm curious where exactly the line is for you of like just the scale of this being so much bigger than we've seen before, and like I'm so used to Pennywise working in the shadows, and like sometimes he'll go in public areas, but he's always just like hiding behind a sheet and then like disappears or something, right? Like he's never being too public.
Yeah.
So when he starts flooding the town with like fog and stuff, to you is that too big scale, or were you still like, okay, I'm still with it at this point in time, but it more like broke later on?
I was with it in the sense of if it's just something's going on, that's the effects of Pennywise that's going through the town, because it could just be, oh, well, that's just regular smoke or fog, and maybe it's infecting some people, but it's just that. For me, it broke when he popped up at the school. This is where I'm of two minds. So I love the school sequence. I love the puppeteering, the head, the kids getting scared. I like it as a scene by itself. But the second he's floating dozens of kids, I was like, especially because he was just about to like hibernate last week. He was in the thick of, well, I'm done with this. So I get what they're trying to do, like, oh, look, he could be a big global threat, but that's where it lost for me, is when he was physically taking all these people, because I don't know, are they all moving? Because then I would assume they would all know about that, and that just does not portray in what we got with it, at least the movie. And there's more things with some reveals, but that was where it tipped off for me.
Yeah, and I don't think it really added much to the stakes of it all, because the only person that we know and care about in there is Will.
Mm-hmm.
And
even the kids are like, oh, there he is, and they try to get him down. They're not paying attention to anybody else.
Yeah. Was he even in the auditorium? Because I feel like I don't remember like a camera actually looking at him. Like,
no, he got caught last week though. Remember?
Right. Yeah. So it's like even in that whole sequence, I don't know. I just feel like I guess like we don't want these kids to die, but like the only ones that we know in here are the three like popular girls who have just shown to be like assholes. So it's like, okay, those are the people I'm supposed to be concerned about here. So yeah, to me it was just it was far too big and showy and public. And you know, once again, I'm trying to take the show for like what it's doing. Okay, this is what they're telling me, what the story they're going for. But I think I just prefer when Pennywise is kind of being more low key, and it just, you know, it's hard to with this being a prequel because this feels like the biggest thing I've seen him do, right? And so it just feels like now he feels like depowered later on, which I don't totally love. So I think for those reasons it kind of throws me off. And so I kind of forgot, but it was a good breakdown from April last week, not Rachel, April, of the turtle situation. This like world turtle god thing that can like help the kids and whatnot, which is something I never knew about.
Yeah, it's like the good, like the quotations good version of what Pennywise is.
If anyone is listening doesn't know what we're talking about, just join the Discord and read April's write up, because we can't do it justice. But yeah, do you think that like was a hint, because the three girls were like, I forget what they were talking about exactly, but there was someone dressed up in like that turtle costume. Like, is that related? Like, what's going on?
No, I think they just put Easter eggs the same way as like a couple episodes ago when they did find that shard. It was like in a turtle shell. I think it is a way where it's Easter eggs, but it's maybe relating like this turtle godlike thing is all around. But again, unless they get into that in one of these seasons, I just can't buy into that. And also it's just like, it's tough for me because the Stephen King lore is bigger. I'll just be honest. I've never loved the idea of Pennywise as like this space god entity thing. I know it's from the books. I know that is the origin. It's just one of those things where it's just like, I'm fine if he's just I'm fine if he's like a transforming thing, but I'm fine if he's just a thing that takes things to eat and that's about it. I don't need this whole lore, and Stephen King has a whole world, so I get it. So the turtle thing at most, I'm always like, but that's where it's for me. If we're going to do it, then you may as well just do it. Especially, I do think for season 2 or 3, they probably should explain it even more because I feel like they are trying to get wacky, especially with this whole not time travel, but that sort of I live in type of any other era. I feel like, okay, if you're going in a sense where now Pennywise he knows how he dies, just bring in this turtle now. Like you're starting to get wacky, and maybe that's what they're trying to get people ready for. It's like, hey, the movies are a bit more basic, but this show was going to get into some more like God crazy stuff. But that's where, to me, it's like either do it or don't hint at it. But yeah, I think the turtle was just a hint, but who knows? Maybe that turtle's the turtle. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I forgot about the shell thing in the
Yeah.
other episodes. Yeah, maybe there's just more of those things. And now that I'm thinking about turtles and I'll probably start noticing it. Maybe they even do it in like chapter 1 and 2. Maybe there's like little hints of.
I think there's
turtles or
like
something.
one time they walk, there's like a turtle shell in the sewer or something like that. Like
Okay.
there are hints to it, but not overt, obviously. So
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, from there, then we jump to Halloran. Halloran's back in his room,
Mhm.
and he's having trippy visions. I think not all the CGI works here, but I did like this scene. I like the creepiness of it. I like that each one of them was like doing something kind of different. You have the one guy like creeping around on the ground. You have the one guy that's like
Yeah.
halfway through the wall, which is like a really, really creepy imagery. And I actually like was bought into the suspense a little bit of it's Hanlon, right? That was trying to get in there. The other guy who comes like save him.
yes, Hanlon. Yeah, Halloran's
Hanlon.
the dick one, and then Hanlon's the it
Yeah, I actually thought that had some good suspense of like, man, is Halloran just gonna shoot this guy because he thinks he's like a zombie coming at him? Like, who knows what could happen here? So I thought that scene was pretty good, and because I feel like to me, I think Halloran. I should find the actor's name unless you know it off the top of your head. But for me, he kind of has been like the highlight of this series, and I think
Oh,
he's
yeah.
to me has the best delivery. I buy into what he's doing the most, even though he's like the most otherworldly character because he actually has like these other powers. There's an exception here, which is I think it's his last line or one of his last lines, which we'll talk about later on. But yeah, I really liked that sequence when he's just in his room, he's debating shooting himself in the head, committing suicide.
Yeah, that was a
having
big
these
scene.
crazy visions, and then when he finds out that his friend's son is missing, he's like, okay, I'll help out. But he still is like kind of grouchy after that too. He's still not loving their plan. But I thought that was like a really well done scene with him.
Chris Chalk is his name, but
Chris Chalk. So it was a Chris Chalk. I think he's done such a great job this series.
well, and that's the thing too. Like I feel like it has to. Like I don't care. We're in spoilers. I feel like the fact that it ended when it said "It Welcome Derry" Chapter 1. I know they don't know for sure, but because last week was the most watched episode, HBO reported this. It's like I feel like they haven't officially said season 2 is happening. I feel like it has to. My point was, I feel like the show is at least doing well. I think it's in the top 3 of HBO shows as far as I think it's like Game of Thrones, Last of Us, and this, which I think is pretty good. Don't know why you wouldn't do season 2 unless this is like maybe way more expensive than we think. But my point is that I think a lot of people are watching and that kind of spreads. And I just feel like you're going to see Chris Chalk in way more in the next 5 years. Because I had only seen this actor once. I think I've said this before, but he played Lucius Fox in the Gotham show on Fox, where he was like
Right.
and he was good in that, but it's just like a very minor role. But I just feel like this is one of those performances where a lot of agents see it and they're like, you know what, that guy is really good for X, Y, and Z. And I feel like the good thing with this role is he has been charismatic. He has done like kind of the action thing. He's kind of done the spooky thing. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, he's not just good at being the funny guy. He's not just good at being the action guy. He showed multiple facets where if it's a comedy, I could believe that. If it's a horror movie, I could believe that. If it's he's on in the next Terminator, fighting a Terminator, I can believe that. So yeah, I agree with you that I think taking from the series, other than some of the stuff Bill has done, he was the standout, and I do hope to see him in more stuff down the line. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
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 What do we get to? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I guess. Well, I don't know, unless you had anything else on that specific scene, because then I would just jump to kind of their plan with like not the kids, but like the adults' plan, I guess.
No, yeah, no. I just thought it was a really good scene, a good read. I think it also gave the Dick character something just endearing, the fact that he was going to take his own life, but he still would delay that to help this guy get a son, but then take his life after. Even the guy Hanlon's like, I'll shoot you myself, like I'll help you out and stuff. So I like that. Just showed that even if he's planning on leaving this earth, which luckily he didn't, he's still like, okay, I'm gonna help out this person that doesn't deserve what's happening to him. And obviously, like we'll talk about throughout, but I just also think he had a lot of good scenes, and I was very happy about one in the middle. So
Yeah, yeah, and then the sequence with the adults when they're kind of devising a plan. They're kind of all together. They're pooling their resources to help save the day.
Yeah.
I love that moment when like they're all describing this plan. They're talking about this dagger. They're talking about an old pine tree, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so goofy. All this, and then you cut to Halloran. He's like, you're all a bunch of goddamn fools, and he's just smoking a cigarette. He like
Yeah.
turns around. The way I was just like so not jiving with like all of the plan and all of the lore that they're dropping there, and then he comes in there with just like this sassy remark. I thought was really great. So I didn't love this idea of this old oak tree that's been here longer than this entire clan's been here. Whatever. It just I don't know.
Felt very easy.
Not my favorite.
I almost wish there was just some way where they even casually or somehow brought it up in the show. I'm sure maybe at some point April or someone will tell us that, oh, in the books it is this thing, but it's like in the show, I wish they would have talked about it. Oh, there's all these points and maybe show it. It felt very random. Also because I just felt like I thought you'd have to put that shard back almost exactly where it was, right? So it was almost weird that they're going here in this
Yeah.
new location. Like to me, that feels like a little easy. But the other thing I know this is not a critique of the writing because they set this up. So I'm not saying it's bad. It's just I didn't personally enjoy the ring, Deathly Hollows locket sort of vibe here with it when they're doing the whole it's turning characters against each other. I know they are things that are kind of like from Pennywise or the entity or whatever it is, but I just don't think that finale needed that here. I don't think it did anything. I don't think it added to it because I just don't think like it. Other than in Lord of the Rings, anytime movies do these, it's like I don't believe Ron's gonna kill Harry here. It's that part in Harry Potter Part 1. That's my least favorite part there, and that's where. What I like in Lord of the Rings, not to get fully in that, but like what happens with Boromir, it leads to some big story stuff, and it goes, oh, that's why, because Frodo left, and it shows, and Boromir died. I feel like most of the time they do something's taken over somebody with main characters. Nothing comes of it, and nothing did here other than just like the power of friendship, which I felt like we have the power of friendship. I feel like we are now united. I do give them
After
credit.
last week's event, they were 100% united for sure.
Yeah, and I do give them credit where I kind of like that they united near the end of the journey. We talked about that. They weren't just another losers club, right? They did come together and they were a bunch of kids, but it was a slower, they weren't best friends. Many times they were divided against each other. So I liked how it eventually laid out. I just don't think we needed this where, okay, they already say the town kind of gets poisoned and whatnot. So it's just another add-on to that. So I didn't enjoy any of the mind control sort of stuff or just the mood turning. So.
Yeah, and I don't want to keep ragging on these kids, but for me the acting of those sequences was not great. Like especially when the three of them are like in the woods and they're like tackling each other. It just I really just get taken out of these moments, and because I thought Lily was like kind of the peak kid actor of this in the first half, and I think it's just less hurtful and more just like the writing for me and like really dropping off a cliff in these last few episodes. But in particular here, I did not like this subplot of like this dagger turning her evil.
Yeah.
Did not work for me. Yeah.
And then to that, we get to the ice, which again, we talked about good. And there's good stuff going on here. I love, like I said, I love the scene with Bill Skarsgård doing the puppet. I love when he's in whatever this weird carnival bandwagon thing. Like, they're just giving him some fun things to do here. And he's just like, he's doing his facials. He's saying weird stuff, like all the stuff you'd want. But the finale at least takes place on, by this tree, but on the ice, which is like, okay, we're on the well, different scenario. I didn't love that it was, I get why, because multiple times Pennywise is hiding or they use it to hide from the soldiers. But this like CGI smoke, dust, snow, whatever it was, just, it was too much. It just felt like there was a filter and they just turned it to 100 and it just, they don't get me wrong. I like there's images of when they're looking around and they just see the eyes of Pennywise in the snow. It's like, okay, that's cool. I just think they maybe overdid it a bit. And at times it didn't look the greatest, but I like the concept of a finale on the ice. It's snowing, it's storming. I like that idea. It just, again, didn't look the greatest like last week with the fire, unfortunately. So,
yeah, I mean, it all just feels too like volume or like green screeny.
Yeah.
Which takes you out of it. And yeah, I think so. Obviously, the ice section is like 30 minutes long, so there's a lot of little things to break down here.
No one fell through the ice either, too. Very
That's
lucky.
pretty crazy. And they were like driving vehicles on it and stuff.
There was two. There was a carnival thing and there was a car. There was multiple vehicles and dozens of people on this ice.
And at one point, 100 kids fall out of the air and all smash in the similar spot on the ice, and nothing breaks there. But I guess it wasn't real ice. It was fake Pennywise, or it was magical ice.
Okay.
Well, like it came from a magical cloud, right? So it's like, I don't know. Was it real ice or was it fake-ish ice.
Fair enough, but you know this I hate before you go. This is what I hate, and we'll get into it more with the future stuff. If he's creating a cloud with ice, why can't he just snap his fingers and all these people are frozen on the ground? Like the people that are trying to attack him, why aren't they frozen? That's my one thing with Pennywise in both these movies. Not so much movies, but it still happens a bit, and especially with this show, his power level is all over. Especially when we get to like he reveals there's one character be really good if he kills. Why are you talking to her? Why are you doing a monologue? Why?
I mean, even the fact that he mind controlled 100 kids at the same time was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a crazy level up that I didn't know he was capable of that, like doing that. We only have ever seen it be like a really intimate thing in the past, so it was kind of crazy.
This is stuff that for me would feel better if it was they're like, you know what, there's not a book, but we're going to do a third it, right? Somehow Pennywise comes back, he's more juiced up. Then you can kind of believe, okay, whatever jargon, MacGuffin you want to give, he's more powerful. But that's where it's always like, so this is the guy, and I know, again, April's going to talk about the turtle, but there's no turtle in those movies, so it's just like, this is the guy that just loses to like 5 kids that kind of are renegades, you know, like that. That's it. Like, and in this one, they're like shooting with a gun, everything like that. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, so what did you, because I don't think we knew about this point of connection that Marge is Richie's dad. I was about to say dad. Marge is Richie's mom. Because do we ever see Richie's parents?
No, we
right?
don't. We see Bill's, we see obviously Bev's, and then we see
the kid that's like really neurotic with like the illnesses and stuff.
Yeah,
we see his
with,
mom.
God, why can I not remember his name at all? But that's annoying. Yeah, we never see his parents, but why would they not move? I don't know. Because I like they say when you leave Derry, that's when you forget. We saw in It Chapter 2, Mike Hamlin as an adult stays there. He remembers it all. So this lady Marge, and I guess the idea is maybe they'll fight Pennywise, but it's just like, wow, what a big setup for your kid, you know? I
mean, I guess they think that they won, right?
No, they don't though, because at the end they're like, oh, every 20 even the woman that's selling her farm, she's like, oh, in 27 years it'll be back. Like,
but does Marge know that specifically?
I just feel like if the parents know that, and now that they went through this adventure together, everyone would know this, right? It's not like the old movie.
There's so much of that in Derry, though. So much of like, do you guys not pool information? like what's going on?
Yeah, but at least with It Chapter 1, it's like the kids do it by themselves. So you could see, okay, no one's going to believe us, but you have 4 adults there that have been through this. 5 actually. They will believe you. They will. There's a whole little cult thing. Like, I know I'm jumping forward, but one of my favorite things is when I think her name was Rose, right? The girl that lost Daniel in this episode. I think I'll have to bring it up. We always forget her name. Okay, but when she's like, the Hanlons, they're moving, right? They're leaving Derry, and she's like, you know, it'd be really great if you could. Right. Okay, it is Rose. Rose, like, it'd be really great if you could join our thing. In 27 years, it's gonna be back, and you never know. And I thought, okay, this kind of makes sense. You know, recruit some more people. Always good to get some more people to the cause. Because she's like, you know, I'm selling the farm, and with Daniel gone, there's nothing really here for me, Darren. And I just thought, wow, you're trying to pass this off. Like, it's different if you're staying there as well. But like, yeah, I'm moving. Could you take the farm and look after this Pennywise thing? It's like, wow, what a bunch of bullshit that is. So that's where just like, for me, I don't know why Marge would stay there. I'm going to assume she has all the memories, or even like in the movie when in 27 years when Bill's brother Georgie goes missing, when she go, oh shit, it's happening again. I don't know. There's too many issues with it, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, maybe she just gets her mind poisoned over time, you know? Like more and more. Like I don't know if the poisoning gets like stronger closer to the cycles, like if it builds up over those 27 years, like people get more and more shitty. Like I don't know if right now like obviously at the end of this, you know, it's like bright and sunny, everyone's happy, everyone's doing good, no one seems to be corrupted or anything. But like I wonder if that is supposed to ramp up over time, or if it's supposed to be like a consistent people in Derry are awful and like this is what it is. But it's hard because you'd imagine a lot of these
with it. So
you'd imagine like a lot of people that go through this level of trauma that these characters do would like forever be able to combat that poison to some extent. But like I don't know how that magic works. But two things that I thought were really, really goofy about that early ice sequence. One is, so the 3 girls are there. They go find Will. Pennywise comes out. They have the dagger, so he can't like grab them. And so he's like glitching around. He's teleporting. He's fast traveling. He's dashing by. Battle. Eventually, he grabs Marge's leg, pulls her away. We get this probably 2 or 3 minute long sequence of Pennywise slowly following her, and then eventually he gets like stopped, and then she runs away. And we go back. She runs back to her crew, and the two girls have just been standing by the fucking cart for minutes with the dagger, not moved an inch. They didn't think to go try and find her. They didn't go in the direction that she was pulled in. They're just standing there looking around, not even saying anything. So that was really stupid. And then the other thing is when the adult crew shows up and they try to do this dramatic thing where the car is like, oh, it's about to hit them, but then like, oh, they slam the brake and they stop. They're on fucking ice. Would they not have just got like totally smashed by that car?
Well, it's magic
and
ice though,
killed?
Dylan. It's magic ice though. That's why.
Yeah, sorry, I already
brakes work
yes.
differently in that.
Established magic ice. You can brake on magic ice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just a couple cheesy things with the pacing of everything. I thought just didn't really pan out for me.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm with you. That's where I'm so divided on the show, just in general, because I like the visuals and the scene of the kids back to back, and just Pennywise laughing, appearing through the smoke. Like, oh, that's all great. That's fun jump scares. But for me, it's also in that first episode with the dagger when we saw Pennywise and it dropped. Are you telling me he could just like maneuvered around it? Like, I just almost think like he should not be able to do. I just did not think he should be able to do circles around it. I don't know. It feels like that's my problem with Pennywise powers, how the victims are affected with this dagger. It's like there's rules until we need something to happen, and then, well, that doesn't really happen, right? It's just like same thing. It's like you could be right about, oh, people are affected differently, but it's then, okay, then why are they infected differently? Is it their age? Is it this? Is it that? Like, because like I said in chapter 2, Mike remembers everything. He's a little crazy, but he remembers everything that happened to him and the kids. Right. So, but some people might not. I don't know. But I did like the scene, and that's where I'm torn too, where I actually enjoy the concept of the Pennywise entity seeing past, present, and future, and knowing like, hey, at some point these kids are going to get me, because I feel like we see that all the time in time travel stuff where it's like, okay, let's say I die in 2 years. I'm trying my whole life to figure out so I can't die, right? And then you probably do something that makes yourself die. Like, I like that dichotomy, and I don't mind him knowing. I kind of wish in that moment he like smelt her and then figured out like, oh my God, but it felt like he knew that's going to be the moment that takes me down, right? Yeah. So to me, if he finds out in the moment, it's like this fun revelation. It's like, oh, I'm going to kill her, and then you stop. Where if that's where, because I was talking about this with Kyle Goldface, he's put in the Discord, he's talking about like the second season and whatnot. Just for me, if with this kid and what they set up for season 2, I get that Pennywise loves to eat. I know he likes to have all these leftovers and everything. But if you know, hey, this is the person that could be the responsible for my death by giving birth to somebody, you instantly like just latch. There's no monologue. There's no nothing. So that's where, for me, they're making Pennywise almost too goofy, too kiddie villain of like in it. I love Goosebumps, and that's the way a Goosebumps villain would act, where it's very, well, the kids can easily outsmart them, where Pennywise I understood could be outsmarted, but this feels so, literally his life is in peril if he doesn't kill this girl, and why is he talking to her? Why is he showing her a little thing? Why is he smelling her? Like, just, you can tell that to anybody. So it's just, again, the stakes are kind of all over, even though I like the idea of this thing can see it the day it dies, and knows, like, maybe I got to find a way to figure that out. And I like that he doesn't know. He's kind of lost in time, because it's similar to in Watchmen. There's a character of Dr. Manhattan where he's living in, Sunday, December 14th, but he's seeing his entire life all the time. And I like that concept of this godlike character having time kind of in a bottle, can see everything from start to finish, and death and rebirth and all this stuff. But I just thought that the plot device then doesn't make much sense for the character who can kill anybody very easily. So.
Jumping ahead, then, how do you feel about the Marge is when they're back in their like tower, their hideout area, and she's talking about that concept. How she's like, oh, I think he can go back in time and like kill our parents. And then Lily has like a cheese line, where she's like, well, that's not our fight then, which is like silly, but like. Obviously, to me, that felt like season 2 bait of like, okay, we got to get people interested. Obviously, you're going to care about these parents now because you're connected to these kids and you care about what happens to them. But like, how do we? And I maybe you could make that same case for this series as a whole, because a lot of it we knew. Oh, obviously, this person lives, this person doesn't live because of what happens in chapter 1. But yeah, like I don't know if that's what the series is. They jump back 30 years and we go back to the next cycle. Like, I don't know. Do you think they would do like almost a what if scenario of like maybe Pennywise actually kills one of their parents and it like changes the timeline and we're like the series, the season we saw this time is not necessarily predetermined because Pennywise can go back and change things,
Mhm.
or not, or are they just trying to do some season 2 bait?
I think they're doing season 2 bait, and I think they could. I would like them to do that. I think they could. I just don't think they won't. I think the concept of Pennywise would go back, but I think he'll be once again thwarted by the parents, the kids, whatever. But I would kind of like that because then you do a fun thing where It Welcome to Derry starts as a prequel, but when you're watching, you're like, man, it's actually kind of a sequel because it's almost like you could work your way back that in It Chapter 2 before he, because he's always saying like when he's getting killed, he's reborn, right? So you could almost work it in your mind that when he's getting killed in It Chapter 2, he's going backwards, like, okay, I got to take out this kid's mom. Now, I don't like that. What is it? Just, oh, I lost to the mom, so now I got to take out this kid's grandma. That's kind of cheesy, but I think that would be a fun way to freshen up the series of, oh, you thought it was a prequel, but actually, technically, it is a sequel. It is something that he can take out those other two movies. I think, oh, that's tons of fun. Will they do something like that? I don't think so. I would love them to, but because they've said the plan is for them to keep going back, I guess that's just Pennywise's plan. It's like, well, this time, and I don't understand it, but I like that idea of a villain going, okay, it's not, and it's the Terminator thing. It's I'm going to kill Sarah Connor before she borns John Connor, who leads the war against the machines. Right? It's
Right.
a fun concept, old as time as far as the time travel thing, killing a bad thing to stop another or a good thing to stop another. So I would love that. I do think they'll go there. Sadly, no, I don't. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I guess another thing is James Remar in this episode.
I remember
Oh
you.
my god.
I freed you. You do it. You do this.
That was such a fucking weird sequence of him just going up to like at first a frozen Pennywise and trying to talk to him. Can you hear me in there? Like all this stuff. And then I think I was kind of confused about the presumably flashback sequence you get. Is the flashback sequence, so I guess that's supposed to be the first time, like after Pennywise absorbs that guy, and it's the first time he's in his body, right? And then he gets found, I guess, because like doing that consume transformation thing, like kind of knocked him out, made him like drunk or something. Then everyone finds him in the woods, and then we're kind of off the races. Is that what's happening there?
For like the flashback when Dick has him in like the mine thing.
Not necessarily. So when Ramar goes up to talk to him, and then he looks
Yeah.
deep into his eye, and then it flashes back to
Oh
Pennywise
right, like the
being
monster with the old man monster thing, right?
old man monster thing.
I thought because remember when they showed Ramar as a kid, that old man was following him and then he turned into a monster? I thought that's what he turned into. He was like showing him the monster that he was when
Yeah.
Ramar saw him.
I'm talking about like when they actually go back to the old timey flashback when he's in the back of the cart thing and he's like passed out, like the clown is passed out, and then like the old
like
guy
last
finds him.
episode?
No, that was this episode, that sequence.
The flashback. What the hell did I miss then? Because so it's not the scene where Dick is in his mind and all those people are in the tent talking to him like, you're Bob Gray. Not that scene, right?
Yeah, that sequence.
Okay, that's not well. Okay, that's where I guess I'm getting confused because I guess it's technically not a flashback because it's Dick he's putting that in Pennywise's mind. He like has him locked in a trap.
Okay, I guess I totally missed. Can you explain to me what's happening? Because I don't think I get this sequence at all. Then
What's happening is at one point they know that Pennywise is going to kill these kids and get them because Halloran's watching them, right? So that's when Hanlon explains. He said, "Hey, remember that one time in the plane you went into his mind and like it really messed you up, but could you do that one more time? That's the only way we can stop him from getting the kids." So when Pennywise is about to bite one of the kids and he freezes, that's Dick that went into his mind and put him in like in a loop there as far as that. So that's why what happens later on is when Halloran is in the car, but he gets picked up by a soldier. It messes him up, and the clown, who is a white old man, when he grabs Pennywise's hand is black, and Pennywise sees that, oh, like the facade's done. Like, you had me in a loop, and now I know it's you. And the second he says it's Tricky Dicky, that's when he sees Halloran's face instead of the old guy. So that's where he put him in. He like put him in a box to lock him up there.
Is that based on a memory then, or is that just?
I think
it must be.
Right?
It must. So is it based on the
yeah.
memory of Pennywise in that moment, or like the guy? I forget the names. The guy's name
Bob
is
Gray.
Yeah, is it like is it Bob's memory? Because to me it seems like that's where I think I was confused, because it seems to be like almost like picking up from where that last flashback we had of him going into the woods and then obviously getting like messed up.
But at the same time, it's like it doesn't take much for like I don't think Pennywise when he transforms in something, it doesn't take too long, right? So I think it's just something. Maybe it's
I
like
think it's just maybe a memory that Bob had of like some random drunken night when he got saved. Then I guess rather than it being a continuation of the last flashback. I think that's what was throwing me off because it almost seemed to connect with where things left off in that flashback from I think last week, maybe it was 2 weeks ago.
I think it was last week that started. Yeah, we got the Bob Gray origin, everything
Yeah.
like that. It might be kind of like an amalgamation where it's it's some memories of Bob, but that's also just Pennywise because he is talking about like I'm not a dad, like I'm not Bob. He kept saying like I'm not Bob Gray and everything. So
Interesting idea though that like Bob's memories are like I guess his brain is still in Pennywise. I guess.
well, I think when he ever hits someone with the deadlights too, you might absorb a little of them, right? In a way, because he
Right.
always knows stuff about, excuse me, about people, right? Like right away, like when he got out of that car and he's like, oh, the freak and the loser and the whatever. He's like, which one are you? I don't know, but you all taste good. Like I think
Yeah.
whenever he does get in your mind, he
I
kind of
guess-
gets some fears and memories. So
Yeah, because Pennywise he wouldn't actually be using his body as like a puppet, right? Like he just
no, I don't think
he's
so.
just using the appearance of Bob. Yeah.
He ate that Bob. That Bob's
And then somehow the
digesting.
memories come with it, I guess.
Yeah, which I also
Maybe.
did. I did like in the scene before he does freeze. His actual acting with the telling Marge everything was good, but yeah, the Ramar stuff was he snaps out of it, and then even that too. I liked. I like when Pennywise walks by and just sniffs him, and he just turns around, just like I never forget a smell. I love the lines that give Bill here, but and yeah, like man, I love James Remar, but what a bad, I'll just say bad character overall. Like just that, just you're free now. Go. We freed you. It's just I feel like by this point you should know this is not a thing you could reason with. You could help free it, but to try to talk to it and be like, no, I'm the reason you're okay now. Like, I don't know.
How are you, old buddy?
Yeah. Yeah. It was weird.
Cheesy
Yeah.
stuff.
But he's dead, so R.I.P. to James Remar's character, and then the rest of the team just fought the army. Even though Hamlin had been shot, he was fighting the army. We did mention it a little bit, but they did kill Tanlin, and that's the other thing too. Like, I'm not gonna say this. I don't want to sit here and say
Taniel,
like,
I mean, sorry. Taniel.
or is it Taniel? Yeah, sorry, Taniel. Yeah, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, what I wanted didn't happen, so it's bad. I just, again, talking about I think the stakes of the show and the kids and the characters. I feel like we did lose a lot of characters, but man, a lot of characters sure survive, and that made me question, the future for it and everything. But
True.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, before we close out here, let's take our last ad break. We'll be right back, and we're back there. So where should we go? James Remar died. They put down. They had
Yep.
So Ricardo, he comes back. That's fine with me. That works. It's kind of like Shining lore, right? We talked about that in Shining and Doctor Sleep, where spirits can come back and help. Okay, cool. He comes. I don't know why the other kids don't help too, but fine. It's just Rich. Oh, that's what I was gonna. So
Yeah,
Ricardo.
that's why I feel like what's the erasure of the guys from the episode 1? And I'm erasing them too. I don't remember their names, but like what happened to those guys? Like you loved those guys. Those were your good buddies, weren't they?
Especially that first one, the guy that when the car, because him and the main
that
girl,
kid too, yeah.
they had like a little like almost romance, right? Like they
Yeah,
kind of liked each
yeah.
other. So, but anyways, now what I'm very confused on and kind of conflicted on is, so they bring him back. That's cool. He runs. Great moment. He helps with the dagger. Sure. And then I think I've missed this, but they called him Rich, and his full name's Ricardo. And the funeral scene I think was nice. I actually like that scene of Halloran sitting down and like, hey, that feeling like that's your son with you. I like that. The acting. Are we to assume that Marge is naming her son Richie because he was rich and she loved this kid?
Yes.
That's very odd, and I would never do that. Like
Yes.
if Emily, like God forbid, if Emily had passed away in childbirth or had I died the same, I can understand if it's someone you love. It's like, oh, in honor of your father and honor your mother, I'm gonna give you that name, right? But it's weird if like, hey Emily, this girl I loved back in high school died. Can we name our daughter that? Like that, and even for me, that's fucking weird.
As
So
far as Derry go, that's like pretty regular thing to do in Derry though. I feel like
guess
that's like a
so.
not weird thing in Derry, but I agree with you. It's very cheesy and very very goofy. I mean, to me honestly that whole sequence was quite goofy of him running up and putting his hand on the shoulder.
He gave Pennywise same thing. Pennywise, super strong thing. Here he's crawling, he's going slow motion, like he can't catch these kids. He can't teleport over. He teleports later on when his skin
Yeah.
gets melted off.
Yeah. And I'll disagree with you in the moment when everyone. So the funeral ends. Everyone's leaving, but the parents are still there. Halloran comes and sits down. And he's like, "Hey, your boy's here. He'll always be with you. You feel that hand on your shoulder?"
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, thank you so much." They're like, "Who are you?" And his response is, "I'm still working on that." And then he just
Yeah,
walks
that's
away.
fair.
Fuck off. I hated that. I was cringing so hard. One of the stupidest lines ever.
It's
And,
their
you know,
funeral,
I've obviously
man. Come
been
on.
big team Halloran here. I love his acting, but no one could deliver that line well. It was so dumb. Like, that's just a stupid thing to say, but also in this context too of like these grieving parents and like trip them out with some weird ass like sentence. So yeah, that I thought was just horrendous.
All you gotta say is a friend. That's all you say. Just a friend.
Yeah.
Boom, done. You know. And
My name's
that's
Dick.
It.
See you around. Good
Yeah.
luck. Whatever. Yeah.
Which like I don't care. We can talk about now. Man, they did exactly what we said. Oh, I hope they don't do that cheesy thing. And luckily, Chris Chalk is a good actor. But like, where you
Friend's got
going,
a
man?
hotel.
Yeah. Where you going, man? Oh, well, I'm going up somewhere. My friend's an owner of a motel. I'm going to be a cook there. And then, oh, well, if you need me, call me. And like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
think I'll run into much danger at a hotel. Wink. And it's just
Yeah.
like,
Well,
get
but you know what? I know Taylor is gonna just cream his jeans when he hears that
the
line. So I'm happy
Leo-
for him. I'm happy. For
Yeah.
him.
Again, I just dropped the location, but yeah, there you go. So I guess yeah, he does just go. He does just go to the Overlook Hotel, and obviously he's working on that. You know, which yeah, who knows what happens? I wonder if that ever gets revived because I remember at one point they were working on a Overlook show and they didn't do it. But I wonder with Netflix owning WB or you know in a couple of years they might. I wonder if they would ever return back.
I
to
think
that.
there's a lot of potential there. That could be cool.
Me too. Would they? Funny enough, it was J.J. Abrams' company producing
Oh,
the.
of course it was. No, it's
Yes.
vaporware.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, if they do that, like I'm very much not interested in the second season of this.
Mhm.
Like, well, in terms of just watching it personally. But you know what? Take Chris Chalk, where he was his name.
Yes.
Put him in Overlook series.
Yes.
Fuck yeah. He doesn't have to be the star. Just put him in
No.
there. But also like this, like maybe he doesn't start as a star and then becomes a bigger part of it, or
Yeah.
not. Either way, like that, I would be interested in, which is a good thing, a good takeaway, I guess.
I agree. So if the cheesy line leads any executive to be like, you know what? Has anyone ever done a Shining show before? That's one where because that's another show that spans multiple decades, right? I'm not saying do Shining, don't like recast Jack. I'm just saying lots of stories and use Chris Chalk, you know. But yeah, they did the thing we said they were gonna do. And like I get it, they do this stuff in comic book movies all the time, and we love it. But I think in comic movies, I expect like sometimes a certain level of cheese there, like. Should William Dafoe ever say, you know, I'm something of a scientist myself
Yeah.
again? No, but I kind of expect
Part of the
that,
genre
but-
is quips, but that is not the case in this.
Yeah. So then they, Pennywise, they get the dagger down. He melts away. I guess he goes away, which I just feel like that should have like instantly killed him, but no, I guess he just goes back to his cave, and we're waiting for it chapter 1, and then kind of our characters. I know that they're happy to get some goodbyes. Like I said, we got that weird scene of Rose being like, "Hey, you want this place? I'm moving," and they're like, "No, we're also moving." I don't know why everyone's like, "Let's just move." I guess they want to. She doesn't want to stay there to fight Pennywise. I don't know. And
Yeah.
and then you had Ronnie and Will. They kissed, and you know they're very reminiscent of it. Chapter 1, just a lot of like stuff of people saying goodbye, and thought it all worked out. Nothing like amazing, but nothing like offensive here. Just classic, like okay, our characters going full circle, you know.
Yeah, and then I guess the last two things, or at least from my notes, one is Periwinkle's her name, right? Like the other clown lady.
Yes, yeah.
So she's locked up in
Juniper Hill or whatever it is.
Juniper
right?
Hill.
Yeah.
Not much there, other than I guess that like confirming that she's still around.
Mhm.
I don't really know what we do with that. Like, I don't know where this leads to. I guess you maybe want what you obviously want. I guess a final scene of her in this series to close it out. But like, I guess this doesn't really lead anywhere, and it wouldn't go back in time. If we're going back in time, obviously, it's not going to lead anywhere.
Yeah, unless the only thing is if, like we said, if they do get a little funky and want to experiment and do an alternate universe thing, maybe you do some flash forwards to 1988, right? Maybe the same way in this show we didn't think they'd be going back to those older years. Maybe they do that,
Right.
where they say, hey, the main story is in 1930, but we're still going to flash forward to the 80s.
I mean,
because if not, I'm
yeah,
with
because
you.
this also we have the chapter 1 thing where we get like a little bit, we get a scene from that we never saw before, right? So that they could jump forward, I guess.
Well, and
Fill
I
in
was
some
very,
blanks.
I was very surprised too. Like when in later on the scene it keeps going, and then when they get the actress of Bev to show up, I like the scene, like the setting and feeling, but I was like, you was like, okay, what is the purpose of this? Is this literally just to tie it to it chapter 1, which is like, you don't need to do that. We understand, like, you don't need to tie this at all. We understand what's happening with it and Pennywise and everything, but it felt, and I guess, like, okay, like Bev does see that character again in it chapter 2, so I don't know if they're
Yeah.
just drawing it there, but I don't know if they don't do anything with it, it'll feel a little out of place. I don't know. I need to see, maybe there's something I'm missing there. I just thought, okay, it's cool to get this character back and see what's happening, but what are we doing with this? So I was,
Yeah. I mean, I
Oh.
guess it just adds some good context to illuminate Bev and what she's gone through. And, like, obviously, I don't know if she was the one to walk in on her mom hanging herself or if they brought. Like, I assume she would have walked in because I don't think the staff would have been like, "Oh, do you want to come see that your mom hung
Yeah,
herself?" Like, come in
yeah.
her room. So obviously, her and her dad would have been going there to visit, and that's when they like walked in on it. So obviously, that's like super dark and gives us, fills in that little piece of detail there. Yeah, the creepy old lady part. Yeah, I guess I don't really know what that adds, other than because like that character, as we talked about her, but like not in part 1, right? The old lady, only
Yeah,
in part
Ben
2.
Marsh. She's in 2. Yeah, like obviously it's a ghost of her, but she's in there. She's dead.
Yeah, so I guess that just
Yeah,
fills in that little blank. But yeah, I mean, even the old lady,
I
like the way
guess.
she was looking creepily, her eyes were drifting a bit too. It was like, okay, is that? I guess it was that Pennywise. Is that his? Is that a form he takes to like sneak around Juniper Hill? Maybe like inhabits this old lady, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So-
I literally have nothing. That's why I was just confused by it. I was confused. So
Yeah, but
More
a
than
question
intrigued.
actually, because obviously that actress, what's her name again? The Bev actress.
I think it's like
I feel like I should know that at
Sophie
this point in my
something?
life.
She's in OD. We should. I feel like it's Sophia something, but I'll find that out there. For
Sophia
you.
Lillis, right?
There you go. Yeah, that sounds right.
There you go. Nice pull. We worked on that together. We each had
Yeah.
one half. What was I going to say about her? Oh, obviously, she has a spoken line and she's physically there. So you imagine she got a paycheck. Does Finn Wolfhard get a paycheck to have his
No.
face on a picture?
I think because that wanted poster is the exact same one from It Chapter 1. I feel
Oh,
like
is
they
it?
just
Okay. That
yeah
makes
they
sense.
because at
That
one
makes
point when
sense.
they're in the house he finds and he's like, why is my fucking
Right,
face on here?
right,
Yeah, he
right,
freaks out. So I think because it's already something they paid for, they're like, we got it. So
Nice. That's funny.
yeah,
A weird idea. Just Marge, an actress who's like 14, to be like, oh yeah, this is the mother of Finn Wolfhard, is like weird. Just weird to think about. So
oh yeah, it's just and then Finn's now older than her, obviously, right? So
yeah, and he's
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I think that's all my notes for it. Welcome to Derry.
yeah, I think so. I'm just trying to think again. I don't understand why the Hanlons would stick around. I get it. I guess Pennywise, but I guess they're just heroes now. So okay, they're sticking around. Trying to think if there's anybody. I felt like what was the last scene? What was the main character? Was it Lily? Her name?
Lily, yeah.
What was the last scene she got in this? I feel like she was kind
I
of missing
guess-
from the ending. here.
Damn, was she just straight up at the top of like the clubhouse, and that was it
Yeah,
when
I
she was
think
doing her
that's-
her saying her stuff with Marge? I guess that is her last line, which seems kind of weird.
And it also seems weird. Like I get because they were like in love, I guess. But Marge is the one that got like the big speech at the funeral about like we weren't friends for long, but it doesn't matter if you're
Yeah.
not friends for long or a good friend or a bad friend. It just matters that you have friends. And it's like okay, good enough speech. But yeah, it felt like Lily kind of took a back seat here at the end. I was just
Yeah,
trying
'cause
to
I
rack
feel
my
like-
brain.
If anything, maybe we needed some resolution. Is like, is she fully recovered now from like the corruption that was?
Yeah.
The Frodo-ness that was happening to her. I assume. So I mean, it seemed like when they had the power of friendship moment that you mentioned, like that she was kind of cured in that moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of weird because she definitely. I mean, I think she definitely took a backseat more and more as the series went on, and I feel like we started focusing on other characters. And Marge definitely, got promoted, I guess. But
Big
good
time,
good
yeah.
point. Some of that was strange. Weird to not get one more scene with her.
Yeah. But no, that's it for me. Dylan, you got a number for this? For these 10
Yeah,
episodes?
I will. It's a pass for me.
Okay, cemetery with her dad. Right, you're right. That was true. She was talking to him. Could have used more juice there, I think.
I don't even remember that.
And I'm gonna
I
use
don't
something
remember that
more.
happened 2 hours ago.
I gotta use some
Thank
more
you.
resolution with her mom too, because her mom like also tried to put her back in Juniper Hill, right? So I could have used something there, but
Yeah.
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 I
I will give this a pass. For me, overall, as I didn't love these last couple episodes, but it's not atrocious, I suppose. But it's gonna be low. I'm gonna give it a 6, even
6.
6.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just 1 point above them at a 7. I think the reason I get there to the 7 is definitely you got Chris Chalk, but also I do just think in a bottle the Pennywise sequences are tons of fun and Bill's tons of fun in
Sure.
them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would watch a season 2. Would we review it? I don't know. I think we would have to see because maybe Taylor solo review. I think it always depends too if it ever were to drop at a time where there's less content. Then sure, but I was somewhere where, as I said before, I've enjoyed these, and even what we do here when we review these, we not nitpick, but you're more critical, right? So if I'm watching a show where I'm not reviewing, I might not overly think about it too much if I'm not like loving it. I think, as I said last week, though, that I most of the time enjoy these episodes, but I was rarely couldn't wait for the next time, right? And I will say, like for past Travis, someone might say like, oh, well, that's a prequel, you know what happens, but that's how Andor ended up being so good because that was a prequel, but every week those in went, man, I cannot wait for next week. And I know this guy's dying on a beach hugging, Jyn Erso, right? I knew his story, but
Yeah.
if you can make a story good enough, and that's where it's like, okay, I always enjoyed my time for the most part. There were some peaks and valleys, but it didn't. I think there was a couple episodes that got to something being great, but never the full way through. So and again too, I'm still interested. 1930, we saw a little bit with it. I still want to get to a third season because I do really want to see what they do with the show in 1903. Like that does really intrigue me of doing the Pennywise stuff like really back in like the night, like starting in the 1900s. So, and like I said, the concept of the Pennywise time travel thing I enjoyed. I don't think the explanation or the kind of the way it was used in this show with how Pennywise was acting was working for me, but maybe there is something of I like the idea of it, and maybe they execute well in season 2. And like you pitched, though, maybe they do something crazy where there is some sort of multiverse what if stuff. Do I think so? No, but you never know. It's TV. Do whatever you want. Like the movies are there. Do what you want. Get crazy. So
Yeah. Even if they don't commit to it as like canon, but just like here is a scenario, and then they kind of like undo it, just as like Pennywise being in someone's head and projecting a future or something weird,
Well, and like we live in a world where Terminator has like 3 to 4 different branches. Halloween's done that where it's like, oh well, this ignores Halloween 5 and 6. This ignores Halloween 2. It's just like people don't care. People can do their own things. If they like the product and like it, then they'll just move along. I don't, and because I think most people that are gonna really complain like, oh, you're changing up the movies. I think most of them, if they're joining the show, will probably still watch anyways. I don't think they're going to go to fight bat for that much. And it still exists, right? Even though we got a movie where Jamie Lee got killed in the 2000s, they made 3 more movies with her. They just said, that didn't matter. And guess what? If you really like Halloween Resurrection, you can go watch that. If you like It's, you could watch that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see. Also, too, where it lines up with season 2, because this is the guy that's supposed to be directing the DCU Batman. So I wonder if that would delay it or if he's not doing that anymore. Yeah, they announced that after he directed Flash. There's a lot of people, including myself, I don't think that's going to happen.
How do you feel about that after seeing the quality of the show? Does that change your excitement level for that project?
I think with unfortunately, I think with Andy Muschietti, it's, I won't say 50-50. That sounds harsh, but I'll say 50-50 in terms of it being great. I've seen him do things that I think are phenomenal, especially at Chapter 1, which I don't know if it's there, but I think at times I've maybe considered it like a top 10 horror movie for myself, which is pretty good. So if we can get that guy, then absolutely. But then there's times where I go, you know what? But I've always said this too, Dylan. If I'm still getting Matt Reeves Batman, I really don't care what's happening with James Gunn's Batman. They can get anyone they want. That's the thing where it's like, sure, give him a shot. I think even that moment we didn't talk about, but when Pennywise turns his gigantic bat and stuff, it's like,
I like the bat. Bat was fun.
Like if he is directing and that's the plan for him to do the Batman that fights Man Bat or Killer Croc or Mr. Freeze, then I think there's aspects of him that. Yeah, or Pennywise, like the fantastical stuff. I think Andy's good at that, of doing good set pieces. So I think if you hey, for the first time ever, we want Batman to fight like a 16-foot crocodile, I actually think Andy's probably a good choice for that. I think he's good at that stuff. Just give him a bigger budget so we don't got some of the snow. Like I want that sewer to be looking good. I don't want it
for sure. Yeah,
to be like just fake mud everywhere. But yeah, let us know what you thought on Patreon, YouTube, social media, the Discord. We'll keep the channel up for a little bit till the next thing starts. And then, next week you'll hear from me and Dylan. I guess I'll promote on the other shows too. But yeah, me and Dylan will be doing Fallout. Taylor might join us for some, but his baby is here in the next 2 weeks. So I think that's highly unlikely. But yeah, me and Dylan will be doing those. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we enjoy that show. We enjoyed the first season. You can check out our review there, and hopefully it's the same. But that'll be the Thursday because Dylan got his plan then, and I'm not doing Avatar. So Friday you're gonna get a double up of Fallout and Avatar. But yeah,
Good stuff.
thank you to everyone that did listen and check this out. Thank you, Dylan, for joining. Thank you, Taylor, for joining when you did. And I promise when you hear from us next, it'll not be boring. I hit
Bye-bye.
the wrong button.